Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining me in Danette's Kitchen. I'm just going to be on here very briefly. I just wanted to mention something that I've said over and over again for years, which I'm sure anyone that's new will not know that it's new, but anyone that's watched my channel for any amount of time will know that for the past 2 or 3 years I've been harping on, being prepared for whatever may come up. Life needs change. It's up to you whether or not you're going to grow and be able to flow with the change. Um, and I talk a lot about being prepared. Last summer, this is January of 2022. Last summer, I did several reports about um, the farmers and the produce and things that were available, how much food was being harvested, and how there was a much smaller amount than usual, and only about a third of the normal amount of food was being harvested, including coffee beans. Only one third was harvested last year because a lot of it um, was contaminated or had some kind of a germ or something in it that made it not good for the body. And I was saying, as soon as I found that out, to be prepared, be prepared, be prepared. Store up your canned goods, store up your dried beans, store up coffee or chocolate or whatever those little things are that you really prefer to have on a daily basis or like to have that helps you feel better when times get rough. I was saying, store it up, be prepared. Especially have enough of the stuff that you absolutely have to have to make it day by day. Here I am. Here we are in January 2022, and the food prices are up. They're saying it on the news. You can go on the grocery stores, a variety of stores, which I've done several reports on that over the months to show where they were kind of frontlining food in several different stores. And I went to a variety of different stores, and they would put food or toiletries or whatever right on the front on the shelves. But if you remove one, it was empty behind there. And some of the stores have even admitted that they were trying to be prepared to make it through December and everything because they know about the holiday rush and how people like to shop. And so they had ordered extra and stacked it up so that they would have it. But now we're into a new year, and reality is just kind of showing its head right now. So there are bare food shelves. Um, Many of the things that people use on the day to day are not available in the stores right now, depending on where you go. Food prices are up. Not sure how things are going to play out here. If you like your whole foods and your fresh foods, and try to get some stuff, put up what you're able to put up. Understand that some things will not just last and be sustainable forever because that's how it is with Whole Foods unless you're taking it. If you have a food dehydrator uh, uh, or something that way that you can freeze dry your food and store it, then great. Start putting that stuff away. Slice very thin. Like I do my dehydrator, like I'm doing with the beets that I had. I buy the fresh beets by the bag. Um, I sliced up the rest of the ones that I had yesterday that I had boiled down in the pot, and they're in the dehydrator. And as each slice is getting fully dry to the point where it's crisp like a potato chip and it'll snap, I can put that to the side. When they're all completely dried out, then I will show you all the next step in the process with that. So that can be put up. The same way I did with my kale and my collard greens because I like to eat those foods all year long. It's really important for me to have the healthy foods for my body all year long. So, dehydrating. People understand about making kale chips. A lot of people do that in the oven. When I try to do it in the oven, they get kind of brown, and I don't want them brown, so I do it all on the dehydrator. So that way it keeps its color. It does get crisp, completely dries out, and I can store them away in several mason jars, and I can just grab what I need and add it to my soups or lasagnas or whatever and bring it back to life, just like I do with the onions or garlic or whatever. And also, having the hydroponic garden works for me because when I see that my supplies are getting a little lower, then I can start that process and know it's going to take about a month for me to get a decent amount of herbs grown in the hydroponic garden, or even lettuce, and I can do the cherry sized tomatoes. That's a help for me. And it doesn't take up much space. It's just, you can put it on one of those little TV trays that you would use to watch television, the ones with the little legs that split out, and set it to the side. It has its own light on there, so you don't have to worry about not getting enough sunlight in the window, especially if you live in a multi unit housing like an apartment or a condo or whatever. It can work. Other than that, do you have canned goods? Take stock of what you have. Do an inventory check of what you have. How many of different kinds of canned goods and things do you have? Do you have dried beans? And I know not everybody likes dried beans. And whether or not you like them, or if you know beans about beans, or if you don't know beans about beans, it's a good thing to put aside to have. But because of how the farming went last year, it was kind of a reduction towards the end of the year from the fall through December for the dried beans that I was able to find out in the community. I could find some like in the dollar store. I could find like a couple of different kinds, like um, navy beans, pinto beans, and sometimes lentils. And as far as going to other stores, regular grocers and markets, it was slim pickings. It was kind of hard for me to find them. But, if you're able to find them, get a bag or two. They're not going to be $1 anymore like they used to be because the price of everything has gone up, including the prices of things that were at the dollar store. Dollar Tree is now $1.25, I think. So get what you can. Get a bag or two of rice, put that aside. The beans can go a long way, though, because it can go much further. But just use wisdom and when you're using the beans because you don't want to make a whole bag of beans if it's just you, because you'll find yourself hating that particular type of bean because you're trying to eat through all that so that you're not being wasteful. But thank you for joining me. I just wanted to share that quick update on food prices going up and the bare shelves. And if you're a meat lover like me, try to find what you can that's fresh. It's not a whole lot out there that's fresh right now, but I mean, it's December, so what do you expect? But there were like 2 or 3 bags that I saw in the place where I usually shop for my meats. And then there was a lot that was already pre-cooked and packaged and shrink wrapped and everything. And so it's like you can pay $5.99 for a bag full of fresh beets where you have to cut the roots off and wash them and cook them and do all that yourself. Or you can pay $2.99 for either a 7.5 ounce package or the 15-ounce package. Which, why is it that way? It's the same price for either one. The 7.5 ounce package is in a cute cardboard packaging over top of the plastic, and it's the same price as the 15-ounce package of beets that's just shrink wrapped, and that's it. So it's time to get out there and seriously do the math. Seriously, get what you can. Don't just go on the day by day, but really put some stuff away, because if something happens and the trucks were to stop again, or if the food were to be stuck out in the port again and not able to be brought in to be delivered to the stores, if anything happened or the stores were to be shut down, what are you going to have? What are you going to do? You have an extra bag of dog or cat food or whatever for your pets. You have enough supply of your medication if something were to happen. Because for a while last month, um, different pharmacies were saying that they would be slow on delivery because they're having a hard time getting some of their supplies. Those are just some things to seriously think about. And there are stores, um, there are drugstores, pharmacies, I guess you call them, in Ohio and in some other states that are low on their supply of the regular over the counter pain medication that people use. So then, what do if you're in need of that and it's not available? It's just something to think about. I was glad though that the schools did shut down on the days that it was too cold. Of course, I ended up having to have my rant about them sending kindergartners, first and second graders to school when it was 17 below zero. But then after that day, they did have the kids stay home from school and do that at home plan, because the virus cases are increasing. Many teachers are not available in the school. There's no one, not as many people available to drive the school buses to even pick up kids to take them to school. And and it was freezing out. You expect a bunch of little kids to just walk to school, it just wasn't a good deal. So I'm glad that the city did take heed about that. A little late, but better late than never. And they allowed the kids to stay home and have a day of working on their homework from at home. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope you're prepared, just even in the slightest way. I mean, we've had a couple of years of experience with this now. Uh, So, a year and a half, almost 2 years of experience with this, and I just really, truly hope people are prepared and are putting back a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to be an all out Armageddon, because I don't know that. There's only one that knows that, and that's the Father above. What I'm saying is that things are happening every day, carjackings, and uh, just a little bit of any and everything. And there's even been in my city where people are waiting for people to come out of the grocery stores so that they can get what they need the freeway. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope that you'll take some time tonight to look at what you have, take inventory, and see how long will what I have last me. And I'm not talking about, a freezer full of pizza or pizza rolls, which those are nice convenience foods, but I'm talking about other foods that can sustain you, stick to your ribs, you know, vegetables, um, meat if you eat meat, TVP. If you don't eat meat and you want some vegetable protein, TVP is texturized vegetable protein, and it works well in spaghetti. Um, Pasta sauce is still relatively affordable, so try to get some of those things that are more affordable, and maybe if you can double up on what you get with that, put those things away. It doesn't mean that you have to gobble them all down this week, but have for now and have a little bit for later. Because if you get sick, what are you going to do? If you get sick and you don't have any food at home, it's not going to just magically appear, as far as I know. And a lot more people are getting sick than at the time when I was sick. And I'm thankful that my job, um, people from work dropped off food, coffee, bags of coffee, which is where I have my got my mug from um, that says "Be True." So, but not everyone has that support, and it's good to have a backup plan of your own for how you're going to handle situations. But thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon.